BIM! Guess what? We're a bit late tonight. There's a reason for that. There's been another assassination attempt, possibly, on President Trump at a golf course. Breaking news. In fact, it's so breaking that we're going to go straight to breaking news, and I will see if we can find out anything that is going on regarding the Trump and what is going on. Now, bear in mind, Luke Marsden, who's one of the biggest Trump fans I know, is currently in America. Sadly, we can't speak to him because I don't have his phone number. But it's quite shocking that this stuff is going on. And as I've said many times before, there is absolutely no need for anyone to be attacked in any way, shape or form for their political beliefs. Even Keir Starmer. I'd even draw the line there. I'll tell you I would. Have we got actual breaking news? I mean, is it that breaking news that it's not even breaking? Anyway, apparently from what I've picked up off the news, various channels, it seems that someone's been arrested in a vehicle who had an AK-47 in the vicinity. Trump was playing golf at the time, and well, he's been unarmed, but gunshots were heard, but it was unsure whether or not it was the AK-47 or whether it was the authorities actually going and basically scaring the poop out of this person who's obviously insane. So let's see where we're up to. No, nothing on the breaking news section. But there you go then. I think Flink's had a few drinks. Hello Lainey. Hello Dream. Hello Flink. Breaking news. So yeah, there you go. We've had breaking news, which is unusual because normally we just go straight to the week's news. But we've had breaking news because the news is breaking while it's breaking. In fact, more breaking news. I'm online live now. Breaking news. Unbelievable. It's just breaking news everywhere, isn't it? So yeah. Yeah, I don't believe in any kind of physical attack on anyone. That's what the ballot box is for. And nothing upsets someone who wants to get into power than losing at the ballot box. Speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience, but it's alright. I'm over it now. And relax. Anyway, what's been going on this week that led up to the events that are happening now, as we speak, or not, because it's finished. We're still waiting for the news to break, or break. It's like breaks, news, break. Yeah, anyway, moving on. The week's news, and my opinion on said week's news. First thing is, I've got a bit of a collar thing going on there, so we're going to do that. There you go. Is that it at the moment? Yeah, we've got Flink, Dream Frequency, and Laney. Hi T, aka Keith. Hope you're good, and all being well, we can have a good chat about the news this week. Although the news, as usual, is never good. Anyway, we're in September. We're rattling towards the end of September. We're literally halfway through September. 30 days of September, April. Yeah, 30 days. So we're halfway through September already, which means we're nearly in October. Winking heck. Anyway, the 9th, Monday, was the 9th of September. It was the day after the last time I did this. And Princess of Wales releases a 3-minute video after finishing chemo. Treatment isn't over, but apparently she's finished the chemo part of the treatment, which is good news. 3-minute video, so it didn't take long to watch. I didn't watch it because I couldn't be arsed. 1,750 will be let out early tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, to ease prison crowding. What could possibly go wrong with letting people out early from prison? Bearing in mind, prisons don't actually reform people in any way, shape or form these days. It's just all absolute nonsense. In Afghanistan, the Taliban ban women from speaking in public, which again, makes me ask the question. These cardiganed women in Britain who hold these placards saying, all migrants welcome. Do you not understand that the women in the countries a lot of these migrants are coming from are abused sexually, physically, and with their freedoms? But you're still prepared to accept them in our country? Shame on you. James Earl Jones dies, aged 93, famous for being the voice of Darth Vader, but not the body and not the stuntman. Apparently 3 people played with Darth Vader, including a guy I met at a couple of Comic-Cons. I was also the Green Cross Code man, and he had a very Dorset accent. I was Darth Vader, I was Darth Vader, so I was there, so it is. Oh, that's gone to Ireland now, isn't it? Oh no, I gone Irish now, I wasn't Irish. Anyway, it was replaced by, Luke, I am your father. Anyway, 93, good age, to be fair. Met Police agree they have acted differently during protests. Really? So let me think. When people are protesting for reasons that are interesting for the government, you don't do anything, but when they're doing stuff that isn't interesting for the government, you arrest them. Is that not two-tier policing? Or am I just getting the wrong end of the old stick? No, I'm not. It is two-tier policing, and it's an absolute shitstorm. Hi, Craig. Craig Podmore. Enjoy a good pod, I do. Sadly, this isn't a good podcast. Anyway, don't worry about it. Oh yeah, I've done that one. Tuesday the 10th of September. Surprisingly, personal news, I visited my mother in hospital again, 3 times on the trot now on a Tuesday. And she was only meant to be in for 2 days. And then they complain about beds being hogged by people. Yep. Anyway, real news. More than 1,700 prisoners are allowed out, 40% into their sentences. And to be fair to them, the majority of them, or in fact all of them, 100% of them, treated that with the respect it deserved. And the fact that they're getting a second chance that maybe they don't deserve. Including being picked up by a Lamborghini, spraying champagne everywhere, dancing, and as we found out later, sexually assaulting a woman. What could possibly go wrong with this government? Jesus Christ, they've not been in 100 days yet, they're already picking up. There was a debate between Trump and Harris. That's all you need to know. The government wins the vote to cut the winter fuel payments. Now, I did question this in the local paper when I wrote about it, and I said, are any MPs, Labour MPs in particular, brave enough to put their constituents before their career as an MP? Turned out 50 people who were Labour MPs didn't turn up. Some of them had genuine reasons to do so. One MP actually voted against it, one Labour MP, so kudos points for him. The rest of them, scumbags. Yep, you've got a big majority, but the sooner vote for something that punishes people who've worked hard all their lives in order to progress their careers. Shame on you. Israel kills yet more people in what was they deemed a humanitarian safe zone in Gaza. It was a tented community, and they say it was just Hamas they were targeting, and then multiple people who died, which is one of them things, isn't it, you know, because we can't actually target individual people. Unless, of course, they're aid workers in cars a few months ago, travelling down a road, and we can individually target them 3 times. Fuming. Wednesday, the 11th of September. We don't know that yet during frequency, but we do know it's going to go badly. Especially if it's we've had some mild winters recently. We're talking about Keir Starmer. And Viva Mark, it's going okay. I've been watching news, hence we're a little bit late today, so I'm rushing through it because I still have my thing to write for paper. Anyway, Wednesday the 11th. Trump says migrants are eating cats and dogs in the debate. I mean, we got rid of, well, we didn't. America, thankfully, got rid of Biden. Sadly, not properly. He's still president, but he won't be president in January, regardless of what happens. But there's still a possibility Trump, who believes that people are eating cats and dogs, people's pets. I mean, you've got to have a, was it continuity test? Yeah, maybe I need one as well. Anyway, meanwhile in Britain, no economic growth for the second month in a row. The government, or rather Lammy and Starmer, agreed to send £600 million of military aid to Ukraine. Zelensky asks to use the weapons into Russia to target not civilians like Russia's doing in Ukraine, not civilian infrastructure like Russia's doing in Ukraine, but to target military installations in Russia that are targeting public and humanitarian targets in Ukraine. Anyway, they're still going to go back to them. King gets in a scrum with New Zealand ladies rugby team in Buckingham Palace. Kinky bugger. Just like his son. 500 million, no, his brother, just to call it, yeah, well, I would have said that, yeah, maybe, well, I'd say his son, you know what I mean. 500 million is being given by the government to Tata Steel to save jobs in the steel making, i.e. to help make them spend money on electronic arc, basically recycling of steel that's already here. It's not steel making, it's recycling steel. Putin threatening us if we give the okay for the missiles. He threatens everyone for everything. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I don't worry about it. I'm old, so I don't really care. When I was a kid, it was Brezhnev and various other weird American presidents, and we used to say on a Friday, as we were leaving school, see you on Monday, unless we get nuked. And that was just life. Just get used to it. If we get nuked, now we can do about it. So just enjoy life. Don't worry about stuff we can't do anything about. Although I do fear Keir Starmer might push us down that route. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Can't do anything about it now because you all voted the Corinne. Well, you didn't actually. A million people less voted for Labour than did previously, when Labour were wiped out after a disastrous election under Corbyn. Keir Starmer gets 1 million votes less and thinks he can do whatever he wants. It's not a mandate, mate. And you're certainly not a man. And I certainly wouldn't date you either. And you wouldn't date any man. So there you go. Thursday the 12th of September, Ukraine asks again to use weapons in Russia. Putin says it will mean UK and the US are now in war, are now joined the war, which is the first time I've heard Putin use the word war regarding what's going on in Ukraine. It's been the military exercise, or the military, what was it, manoeuvres or whatever it was. But he's now using the word war. Has he finally realised he's started a war? What a implonker. The NHS is under severe strain after a review, despite the most amount of money being pumped into the NHS than ever before, but the services for everyone just going downhill. Now, the one thing I do agree with Starmer is pumping money in the NHS is not the solution. One thing I've said for a considerable length of time is you need to get rid of the management. There are too many people sat in offices in the NHS on stupid salaries where that money could be spent on nurses, doctors, improving the situations of hospitals. I mean, Wigan Hospital at the moment is having a major building project going on, which isn't nothing to do with Labour. It started before Labour come into power. This is a Tory government initiative. But yeah, we need to sort out the NHS. Keir says he's got a 10-year plan. No, he's going to come up with a 10-year plan, but of course, because it's Keir Starmer and he's an absolute toss, there's no time scale to be given. He'll get back to us when he knows. He says about everything because he's a loony. Trump says he won't debate Harris again and says only losers request debates. Now, if I was a politician, which I've tried to be a couple of times locally, not nationally, I would love debating someone just to prove that I'm better than them. So if I knew I was going to lose because I knew I was rubbish, I would then say I don't want to do a debate. So I think Trump may have got that wrong. I think he might be scared of Kamala Harris. The problem is we should all be scared of Kamala Harris. I mean, literally, as the Pope said, rock at a hard place. First ever privately funded spacewalk. Mr. Jared Isaac and Sarah Gillis were on SpaceX module, and they did the furthest moonwalk from the Earth planet thing that we're on for, 50 years or something like that? Well past the space station. Anyway, they've landed safely today, so everything's good on that scores. Grangemouth petrol refinery plant is to close, and they're just going to import petrol and diesel. I mean, it's economically viable, isn't it? It's environmentally friendly as well. I've always said, and I always will say, electric cars, not the future. They are more dangerous, they are more polluting than what we've currently got in the long term. But green hydrogen is the way forward, so maybe we should, I've said this many times before, we should be looking into green hydrogen rather than importing gas and oil from other countries, which obviously means that they're still being mined, but then they're getting shipped halfway around the world, probably from Russia. Friday the 13th, what could possibly go wrong? Starmer and Biden meet in the White House. Well, there's your answer. Will they agree to let Ukraine bomb targets in Russia and then possibly create the perfect storm for World War III? Not that we know anything about it. Jay Blade, who, if you watch the Repair Shop, which I don't watch, never liked it. I never like a programme where you've got something that someone's had for years. For example, this bus that I had when I was a child, and I painted silver. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I painted it silver. Yeah, you can. It was originally that colour, which is like a creamy colour. But then I also painted it orange. You can just see bits of orange underneath. So it was like a Greater Manchester bus, which would be orange, white and orange again. And then I painted it silver for God knows what a reason. So it's got a bit of history to it, hasn't it? So you know, I snuff it, and my grandson or my daughter or someone says, "Oh, that was his favourite bus because he had it on his little desk thing when he did his live streams. Oh, we need to take that to the repair shop." And then what the repair shop do is take it apart, sandblast it, and paint it like it was when it was first built. Therefore, removing everything I ever fucking did, which is why I don't watch the Repair Shop, because it's bullshit. Anyway, it turns out that the Jay Blades has now been charged and appeared in court with coercive and manipulative, is that the right words? Conservative and controlling behaviour towards his wife, who earlier on this month said she was leaving him. I have to remember Keir stops work at 6 PM on a Friday. Oh, that's true, so I can't talk to him because he's not back until 9 o'clock tomorrow. Probably in bed now, tucked up with a cup of hot cocoa. Yeah, he probably is. Or is he still in America? I don't know where he is. I don't care. West Cumbria mine, the mine that was agreed by the Tory government, has been scrapped by the High Court. They say it was legally flawed by the government to agree to it because they never mentioned the fact that the coal would be burnt, therefore putting emissions up. And you're like, yeah, but it's coal that's come out of the ground, you know, like on our country rather than being shipped from around the world, which not only when you burn the coal does it pollute, but the ships carrying the coal pollute, and it's still been mined anyway. So yeah, absolute nonsense. Keir Starmer alienates more people as he refuses to redevelop a football stadium in Northern Ireland for the Euros in 2028. Northern Ireland is now going to be the only part of the United Kingdom that isn't going to hold at least one match of the Euros because their stadia that they had planned is not being developed. Keir Starmer said, we haven't got the money to do it, we're not going to do it, which is great, unless of course you're a football fan who wants to see European class footballers playing on, well, next door to where you live, which if you're a football fan I would imagine would be fantastic. But no, it's not going to happen because Keir says he don't care about Northern Ireland. Saturday the 14th, one prisoner is released, who was released by Keir, is arrested on the same day of release, which I mentioned already, for alleged sexual assault on a woman, has appeared in a magistrate's court and is now back in prison awaiting a trial. A teen is charged with the murder of two other teens and a woman in Bedfordshire. It looks Luton area, and it looks like a gun was involved, which is unusual, to be fair. Keir Starmer may have maybe a hot water over some dresses whilst they were donated. Not for him, although nothing would surprise me about Keir Starmer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, obviously. But it does turn out that it was from his preferred donor for the party and himself personally, and they were dresses for his wife, some of whom they received before the election, some of whom they received after the election, but Keir forgot to mention it to the parliamentary body that looks after stuff, including donations. Do as I say, not as I do, eh, Keir? Remember, you did have a curry party during lockdown even. Meanwhile, Unite, the union, accuse Keir and the government of cruelty regarding the winter payments to pensioners. Remember, the Labour Party is proud of its tradition of supporting and being supported by all the unions in the country. Labour is not Labour anymore. Please, don't think Labour is Labour. It's Tory light. Well, it's a shit Tory light. I mean, Tories are crap. They're still better than this nonsense we've currently got going on. Anyway, Sunday the 15th, 8 more people tragically die making the crossing from France to the UK. It was a dinghy and it was dashed on rocks. 2024 now is the worst year for deaths for many years on the channel, and that means 45 people have already died this year making the crossing, yet 801 people made the crossing yesterday because they all know that Keir Starmer's going to let them in and then give them a council house, assuming the prisoners don't get the council house first, whereas people, you know, like my children, my grandchildren who've lived in Britain and worked in Britain their entire life, have got no chance of getting a social housing at all because Keir Starmer doesn't believe in the British people. That's a fact. Storm Boris causes havoc in mid-Europe with many people dead with flooding, etc. It's mainly the Central and Northern Europe that's had these problems. Absolutely horrendous scenes. But Storm Boris is not related to Boris Johnson, although he did create much havoc in Europe himself when he was Prime Minister. More criticism over Starmer, who didn't declare the clothing for his wife, and Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, says there are careful discussions regarding allowing Ukraine to actually use UK weapons and UK technology deep into Russia. Now, of course, the problem you've got is if they're attacking Russian military targets, then that is legitimate if those targets are the ones that are attacking Ukraine, as I said earlier. The problem is if any of them misfire and then one of them lands on an apartment block or a school or a hospital or something like that, or, more likely, Putin bombs a school or a hospital or an apartment block in Russia and then blames the weapons from being shot from Ukraine that were supplied by UK or Britain. So it is a very tight line they've got to cross, and it's a tricky one. I wouldn't like to be in power now, or ever for that matter. Shots fired at Trump. I wrote initially, but now it doesn't seem like that happened. But shots fired in the vicinity of Donald Trump whilst he was at a golf course playing golf. Now, Keir Starmer is a Keir fan of not working weekends, even though he's Prime Minister. But Donald Trump likes to go on the golf course. And why wouldn't he? All that open ground, walk to be spoilt, because he likes spoiling other people's lives, so why not spoil his own life by going for a walk and spoiling it by playing golf? Anyway, that was the news from this week, which brings us nicely to the news that makes you go, really? No. Well, who knew? I didn't. Did you? No. Okay then. Or really? Basically stuff like that. So it's just random news items from the week that I've spotted. There's a few from Australia. What's going on here? There we go. We're back in again. Sorry, that went a bit wrong then. I do apologise. Anyway, first up, fossilised cluster of Australian Crinoid look like aliens from a different planet. Doesn't that not prove the point that we are aliens from a different planet? I mean, they do look like something off Alien, to be fair, but they are incredibly cool as well. Yeah, prehistoric. Very exciting. You get very excited about stuff like that. I do like a fossil. I really want a trilobite. I want a trilobite. Yeah, aliens, Laney, you're right. Meanwhile, in Australia, Australian young people deserve better. I stand with them and with all Australian parents in protecting our kids, says the Australian Prime Minister. A minimum age requirement for access to social media and other relevant digital platforms will be enforced by the Albanese Labour government in an effort to ensure children are better protected and parents are supported. The legislation is entering its third phase, which will involve technology testing and assessment, and it's set to commence this week. So they're trying to do their bit to stop the pressures of children and the pressure on children and the manipulation of children by social media. Either the influencers, you know, the guys with their 8-packs and the chiseled jawline, which most kids don't look like, or the girls with the big busts, the big fat lips and the perfect makeup and hair, none of which is achievable for at least 90% of the population. Anyway, let's look at a Banksy. Okay, let's move on. Now, I'm a big fan of waxworks museums. I can't see the point. But I do like it when you see them and they look exactly like the person they are meant to be. And without a shadow of a doubt, this doesn't come close. This is a Wayne Rooney waxworks from the Museum of Gdansk. I mean, don't get me wrong, Wayne's never been a looker. Even when he was younger, he's never been a good looking man, but my God, that is... It looks more like, Captain Picard from Star Trek Next Generation. I mean, it's horrendous. But don't worry, we've got more to come. Frightening. Absolutely, Laney. This is a bus saying, I'm not a bus, I identify as a train. And this is a bus that's obviously doing some kind of train replacement service. And then what gets me is the comment that someone's put, oh my God, a trainee. Which, genius. Many geniuses there. And certain members of us, of a certain age, definitely T, and, well, maybe not Laney, because she's still a young whippersnapper. But certain other people will identify with this. And you can still buy them, but they're currently called candy sticks. Back in the day, they were chocolate cigarettes that look like cigarettes, were in cigarette packaging, and smoked by someone who looks like he's been smoking weed, to be fair. But yeah, you don't get them anymore. Hey Flint, yeah, it was funny, that's definitely. Meanwhile, this is not a waxworks. This is the prediction of what David Beckham will look like now from 1998. 442, which was a magazine, predicted what David Beckham would look like in 2020 compared to what David Beckham looks like in 2020, which obviously they didn't have the ability to do. I mean, God knows why his teeth fell out, and obviously, you know, they knew he was going to be rich, so therefore the hair wasn't going to be a problem. Again, I refer you back to Wayne Rooney, but that's like, yeah, not good. Meanwhile, the sad news regarding James Earl Jones, Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, just tweeted, "R.I.P. Dad," because Luke, I am your father, was the lines probably James Earl Jones will be most famous for ever uttering in his entire life. But yeah, I think that was a fitting tribute, you know, unless of course Hamill's dad is not dead, in which case it'd be like, what the hell? And there is Australia looking at this, and there's a picture there of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Luke being played by Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker being played by the Green Cross Code man, but voiced by the rather splendid James Earl Jones, who passed away this week at the age of 93, which is pretty damn good. Now, we've done this before. We've looked at signs that people have put up that don't make any sense, and as someone has written on this, no matter how you look at this, none of this makes sense. Carpet your wool for only $99. Carpet for your only wool $99. No. Carpet only for your wool only 90. No. Carpet your carpet $99. No, none of it makes sense. It's just insane, yeah. And this, I mean, this is, you know, I scream BS on many occasions, and this, for me, 100% is BS. Rosie Jones tops the list of funniest British female comedians of all time, with Victoria Wood and Eddie Izzard rounding off the top three. I mean, talk about box ticking. Jesus, let's have a disabled person and let's have a trans person, shall we? And then the real comedian is not actually in there. I would put Victoria Wood at the top of these three, 100%. The other two wouldn't even feature in my top 10. And I would also put in there Caroline Aherne, because she was amazing. She's the lady who did Scotcho in the Fast Show, but also did the Royal Family. She played the daughter in the Royal Family, sadly passed away from cancer a few years ago. And she also came up with the idea of Gogglebox as well. But there are so many other female comedians who are so much better than Rosie Jones and Eddie Izzard. What the hell's that about? The problem I have with Rosie is, and I appreciate that she is a brave young lady who has put herself out there, and she is, despite her obvious disabilities and speech and everything else, she's not afraid to put herself out there and actually, you know, appear on shows, things like that. Now, whether it's me who's, you know, disablist or not, but I can't watch anything she's in. I just find it, I just can't do it. And it's not because I don't like her, or it's not the fact that I don't appreciate what she is. I just find it irritating. And I don't think she's that funny. I mean, I've seen her on The Last Leg, I've seen her on QI, apparently Lainey said she's on Taskmaster. I've never watched Taskmaster, to be honest. Yeah, pity humour. Yeah, you're probably right. It's like people, oh, we have to laugh because, you know, she's a brave young woman. And I don't want to sound like a horrible, nasty person. But at the end of the day, comedians are meant to make you laugh. And she doesn't make me laugh. Even when I listen to her jokes, and even when I listen to her little quips, I might have you know, you might get the odd smirk or something like that. But I wouldn't say she might be funnier than me, but I don't class myself as a comedian. At least not, I don't stand up on stage. But it does feel like I'm being nasty. No, I'm not being nasty towards her, but it sounds like I'm being nasty towards her because of a disability, and I'm not. I'm you know, it's amazing that she's doing what she's doing. It's amazing she's carved a career despite the life challenges that you know, she's been given. But to say she's the funniest British comedian of all time, absolute bollocks. Eddie was good. No, it's not humour, like I say, it's a shame. It is a shame. Meanwhile, cyclists are busy given AI technology that means they won't have to stop at red lights. Although, it would appear, if you've ever seen cyclists, they don't stop at red lights anyway. This is from Have I Got News For You, which hopefully is coming back for a new series soon. We went a bit dark then with the Rosie. So let's lighten things up again with Myra Carey. If you put a woman's hair on Mike Myers, you get Mariah Carey. I'm sorry. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. I'm sorry. That's just hilarious. It's funnier than Rosie anyway. GameStop's financial results for the second quarter ending August the 3rd, 2024 showed a continuing decline for the company with a 45% drop in sales year on year. Now GameStop is the American version of Game, which now at best is a concession inside a few of the Sports Direct shops after being bought by what's it called now? Mike Ashley's company. It's not called Sports Direct anymore now. It's called House of Fraser Group because it's posher than Sports Direct. But yeah, they're just turning it into a franchise. The reason for this is twofold. One is games are just getting stupidly expensive. Second one is game companies are basically pushing people to buy games online. And third one is modern games now, AAA games, are shit. I mean, they are just generally shit. Games years ago, back in the day, up to mid 360, up to mid PS3, and whatever the equivalent Nintendo would be at the time, they were made by gamers for enjoyment. Now games are commissioned by people who don't know anything about gaming in order to make money. So if you buy the equivalent of FIFA, which is FC now, it even says on the box, although maybe not with the first FC, but probably with the second FC, that the majority of the game is exactly the same as last year's. All they've done is they moved the players around, they've transferred, and if someone's upgraded the stadium, they've upgraded it. Oh, and that's 80 quid, please. Oh, and then you can buy these packs to get better players for your online team, which are not very expensive, but you spend 50 quid a month with us, we'll keep an eye on it. So yeah, the games industry needs to have a major crash. Now, there are some good games coming through. Recently I played a game called Stray, which came out a couple of years ago, from an independent company, which is really good. A few more years earlier I played Limbo and Inside, both of which were original fun games. And then you've got, going back even further, you've got Alien Isolation, which is a fantastic game with no extra stuff buying and anything like that. Oh, Kim, you snuck in without me noticing. I've seen you before you went off the page, so hiya, Kim, hope you're good. But no, it's the games industry needs to have a reset, and hopefully it will happen sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, the Conservatives ask, well, they don't ask, they basically reprint the Daily Mail front page. which shows prisoners being released early, being soaked in, well, it wouldn't be champagne, it'd be Prosecco or bubbly wine. But prisoners soaked with a celebratory bubbly as thieves, drug dealers and violent criminals are freed early. I don't think there's many violent criminals, but there might be one or two. One vows he's now a lifelong Labour voter. Another was greeted by friends in a Lamborghini, which we've already covered. All on the day, Starmer's MPs voted to axe winter fuel cash for 10 million pensioners. And the question is, who voted for this? None of this was in the manifesto that people voted for. So basically, Labour need to be gone now. Here's a prisoner being released from HMS Prison Slade. Oh no, it's not. It's just Porridge, TV show from the 70s, which was amazing. A German football team failed to score in 5 straight matches, so fans decided to use giant neon arrows to remind the players where the goal was. So yeah. They literally, there's a video of this, and they're running between the seats backwards and forwards with the arrows pointing towards the goal, so that hopefully their people who are playing the football match will know where to kick the ball. Gonna get that on a t-shirt. What? Fletch coming out of prison? Or who voted for all this? You might be on a delay. Here's something sick from Fisher Price. A baby biceps gift set recalled. A product recall has been issued for an exercise-themed baby gift set due to a potential choking hazard, after it was found the grey caps on the ends of the dumbbell toy could come off. Fisher Price baby biceps sets includes a dumbbell toy, a kettlebell toy, a toy protein shake, and an orange sweatband. Now, seriously, Fisher Price, what the heck are you doing? This is from 3 months plus. I mean, talk about body shaming people. It's bad enough we've got influencers. Without you coming up with a biceps gift set for babies with a protein shake. Sick. Beyond sick. Boycott all Fisher brand toys from now on. No, they've bought it for a long while. Price gouging crackdown for the cost of living in Australia. A bill coming into Parliament next week could see supermarkets and other corporations fined up to 50 million Australian dollars, about 20 grand, if they are found to be price gouging customers. The bill, based off similar laws in the European Union, but not in Britain obviously, would allow the Australian Commission to apply for a court order if a corporation had been found to illegally price gouge. Now, price gouging is basically raising prices for no legitimate reason, i.e., oh, there's a war in Ukraine on the other side of the planet, we need to put our yogurts up by 50 cents or whatever. As war rages in Gaza, scores of Palestinian teenagers have been killed, shot and arrested less than 80 miles away in the occupied West Bank. So this is children being targeted by IDF soldiers in the West Bank. Children. Yet the West is still supporting Israel. I mean, you don't support Israel, therefore you must support Hamas terrorists. Cough. No, I do not support Hamas terrorists. As I said earlier on, Israel has the ability to target people with specific aim and without loss of life. We carpet bombed Germany in World War II. Germany carpet bombed a lot of Europe in World War II. That was the technology we had then. We now have guided missiles. We now have small missiles that can be guided from a long way away. We basically, what we're seeing in Gaza and now in Lebanon is ethnic cleansing. I'm not going to say it's genocide because it's not genocide, but it's definitely ethnic cleansing. Let's move all these people out of this area so we can illegally build houses here. That's all it is, nothing else. And if people in the West can't see that, then more fool them. Mind you, in order to get a good view, where would you go? Space. Billionaire's first private spacewalk. A billionaire has stepped out for the first ever private spacewalk, teaming up with Elon Musk's SpaceX on the daring endeavour hundreds of miles above Earth. tech billionaire Jared Isaacman joined a small elite group of spacewalkers who until now have included only professional astronauts from a dozen countries. So yeah, if you've got the money to do it, then fair play. One thing I will say is that these suits look a lot more comfortable than the ones that NASA had the Apollo astronauts wearing, and even recently on the space shuttles as well. British actor and writer Kenneth Cope, best known for appearing in Coronation Street. I don't remember that. Anne Randall and Hopkirk, deceased, where he played Hopkirk, the guy in the white suit, has died aged 93. 93 seems to be a bad age this week. A statement from his agent said Cope passed away peacefully in his sleep with his wife and family by his side. In Randall and Hopkirk, Cope played Marty Hopkirk, a man who was murdered but returned as a ghost. The show, first broadcast in 1969 and 1970, developed a cult following and was remade really badly in 2000 by Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. One thing, I've been watching it, well, in the last couple of years I've watched a few episodes of it, the original 1960s, 70s one, and it was one of them shows that definitely of its time, but the thing I liked was they were going round at like, midnight, but it was daylight. They filmed it in daylight, so they obviously filmed it like 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning, pretending it was London at midnight, but it was daylight, but they still pretended it was night time. And when they went in the building and they had windows, it was dark outside, but they come in the building and they went out of the building and it was light. But yeah, I mean, continuity wasn't a thing there. And there's another one, Kenneth Cope, and that's what he looked like in the 1960s and 70s. I looked like a child because, well, I was a child. Bon Jovi helps distraught woman step away from a ledge of a bridge in Nashville. The good news is she stepped away from the ledge by going onto the bridge, not stepped away from the ledge by going away from the ledge and the bridge. So that was good. I mean, if John Bon Jovi come up to me when I was thinking about jumping a bridge, I probably would fall off with shock. But anyway, rock legend John Bon Jovi was praised by Nashville police for helping a distressed woman who was standing on the ledge of the John Siegenthaler pedestrian bridge. Bon Jovi, 62, along with his team, approached the woman, spoke to her and eventually helped her back to safety. He promised to sign all her Bon Jovi albums that she's got. She's nice, that's nice, isn't it? This is a meme. It's basically the head of Donald Trump on an old woman's body with a Zimmer frame, and the words across the chest, "They're eating our cats and dogs," and then a young woman saying, "Sure, Grandpa, let's get you to bed." Scary thing is he could be the world leader soon. Sinus issues linked with mental health, according to a new study in Australia. Chronic sinus issues have been linked to anxiety and depression, a study by the Houston Methodist Hospital has found. The study claims people with ongoing sinus issues are 4 times more likely to have anxiety and twice likely to have depression, while the risk of developing an infection is high for those with anxiety and depression. So basically, it's a vicious circle. Meanwhile, the repair shop's Jay Blades is charged with engaging in controlling and coercive behaviour. Not smiling now, are you? Yeah, go and repair your reputation. A man builds a guitar out of his dead uncle's skeleton so he can shred forever. Meet the YouTuber Prince Midnight, who constructed a guitar with a body built from actual human skeleton. The skeleton, as Prince Midnight tells Guitar World, belonged to his uncle Flip, who passed away in the 90s in Greece. He originally donated his skeleton to the local college and was medically prepared for the school, Midnight says, so it's not unhygienic in any way, although it is incredibly sick. Meanwhile, some good advice here. Warning, do not enter tunnel with oncoming train. When train approaching, exit tunnel. Low level lighting in tunnel. Remove sunglasses. Walk or bike through the tunnel. i.e., do not enter the tunnel when there's a train coming. I mean, I think that's good advice, I'll be honest with you. And I think you should heed that. Unless you're a dictator. Just taken in a car park somewhere. But I love that. Thunderbirds are go, and it is Thunderbirds 4 recreated in a Reliant Robin or some other three-wheeled vehicle from the same place. The rather excellent Spike Milligan. When I go, I want to go in my sleep like my grandfather, not screaming like the passengers in his car. Oh, jewellery. Greg's fan won't be caught wearing new baked in gold sausage roll earrings. The 5-piece collection includes £36 sausage roll earrings along with a vegan version featuring a different pastry pattern, while the charm bracelet costs 96 quid. I mean, who the fuck buys these things? I mean, you know, a Greg's Bakery sausage roll is adequate, but I wouldn't dress like a Greg's Bakery. You certainly wouldn't buy jewels. Multi-million-pound scanners failed to stop substances flooding into UK prisons. A new report looked into prisons who reported rising drug use and found expensive security measures did not work because of one simple reason. It's the prison officers taking it in, all the operators. 2 passenger planes in terrifying crash on runway as tail left dangling off a jet. One passenger wrote on X, "Well, that was terrifying," taxiing out for the flight from Atlanta to Louisiana, and another plane appears to have clipped the back of our plane. I mean, it would be terrifying, but, you know, it might have been a Boeing, so, you know. Half of UK hospitality staff suffer from mental health issues, new study claims. A new study on workers in the hospitality industry has revealed almost half of the staff across the sector have struggles with their mental health, some even expressing to have suicidal and harmful thoughts. I mean, I've been in the hospitality catering industry and it is a very depressing place to be. 3 lags buzzing as they name UK jail that's full of rats and cockroaches. 3 prisoners are celebrating getting out of jail earlier, but others fear they are not ready for civilian life as part of a controversial government scheme to reduce jail overcrowding. But don't worry, Sadiq Khan says that we should give all these ex-prisoners priority for social housing. No. End of the world wildfire burning so hot it creates its own thunderstorm. Fires are burning all across the west as triple-digit temperatures are blanketed, Fahrenheit, not centigrade, have blanketed the region, creating one fire in southern California hot enough to create its own thunderstorms. That is terrifying. The problem you've got is you've then got global warming being added to by global warming effects, which these are not man-made, unless of course someone set fire to the thing in the first place. Women ambushed and blooded all over by savage gang of sharp-toothed otters. A bevy of 8 hungry beasts charged through the Tangaran Ar Recreation Park looking for food in Sabah, Malaysia. And then they attacked a woman. So the otters, you know, the worm has turned. Well, the otters are turning. More otter stories later. Not even joking. Meanwhile, a new statue of Queen Elizabeth is mocked for looking more like Mrs. Doubtfire. And I must admit, if that's meant to be Prince Philip, that's not a great likeness either. But anyway, what about this? Prince Harry and Prince William on a mural. House with mad mural mocking Princes Harry and William goes on sale for huge sum. House in Brighton has been put up on the market for £425,000 with the exterior of the building boasting an unmissable mural seemingly mocking Prince Harry and Prince William. Would you pay nearly £500,000 for that? Well, probably, yeah, because it's in Brighton, and therefore it's going to be expensive. But what you would do is immediately paint over that. Key to staying calm unveiled by leading biologists. Stroking and smelling wood. Now, thankfully, not his own wood. No, he means actual tree wood, because that would be weird smelling and stroking your own wood in order to stay calm. Well, to be fair, I think that's what people have been doing for centuries. So maybe that's not the bad thing. Well, maybe not smelly, but certainly. Anyway, yeah, no, it's actual tree wood he's on about. A little bit disappointing, really. Serial killer cows, one of UK's most dangerous animals and must be avoided. The cows on Walker's safety i.e. cows, group says cows have been responsible for more than deaths than dogs and have actually killed off 22 people in the last 4 years. Well, I hate to say this, but I think dogs have killed more people in the last 4 years. But cows are dangerous, particularly when they've got calves, because they have to protect their young. It's an instinct. Putin warns Russia will be at war with the UK and the US if long-range missiles are used. Speaking to a state TV reporter about the possibility of Ukraine using such missiles, Putin said it would mean that NATO countries, the US, European countries, are at war with Russia. Because it's now a war, apparently, even though it was military manoeuvres and he started it. A woman who married and divorced herself says she's been working on a relationship. Sue Ellen Carey shocked her hundreds of thousands of followers after she walked herself down the aisle and married herself, but has since been working on her fitness following divorcing herself. I mean, how you divorce yourself, I'm not so sure. I mean, why you would marry yourself, I'm not so sure either. And this is a tragic story. A world's most monstrous bodybuilder who ate 16,500 calories a day dies at just 36. Ila Goldman was known as the 340 pounds beast and the mutant for his incredible physique that was built on a diet of 16,500 calories, including 108 pieces of sushi every day. And he's died. I wonder why. I mean, again, I think that's more mental health than actually applauding it. I think a lot of people who over-tattoo themselves and a lot of people who get into this gym regime have got mental health issues and they should be helped, and certainly shouldn't become a media star, which possibly pushes them then to do even more and end up with the tragic consequences that we've currently got. Meanwhile, a woman in a 9-year relationship with a Boeing 737 ends affair, but they're still pals. She's ended her 9-year relationship with a Boeing 737-800 despite once describing the plane as the love of her life. And she's now found a new obsession. She's realised she's a human. Yeah, well done. We've done the John Bon Jovi one, so we'll move on. Extreme heat could smash temperature records despite Antarctic chill forecast. Or Arctic chill forecast. The world's gone mad. Oh, tough, the world's gone mad a long while ago. Weather forecasts all appear to be predicting different things for September, with the Met Office warning of snow, but Exacta predicted that we could have record-breaking heat. I know which one I'd sooner go for if I had a choice. Well, that's obviously record-breaking heat. Meanwhile, we all know Keir Starmer's got a kitten for his kids at number 10. Larry the Downing Street cat is a little shit and most miserable, and the most miserable cat you'd ever meet. Without putting too fine point on it, Larry the cat is a little shit, said one Keir Starmer's top MPs. So none of us got a picture with Larry the cat. So Larry the cat is fed up because Labour have got into power and Larry the cat supports the pensioners. So he's literally being nasty to all the Labour Party, but he's got to be careful because that's his house and there's a new cat in town. Time Traveller returns from 2671 to warn us about a 5-year danger events this year. A TikToker who claims to be a time traveller has shared 5 wild events that we can apparently expect before the end of 2024, including strange energy released by the moon, sun even. We've had strange energy released by the sun. That's why we're getting all these aurora borealis, or whatever it's called. But no, the good news is, if this person has travelled from 26 whatever, that means humanity is still going and still has technology. So whatever he's freaking out about is probably not a bad thing. Plus, he runs the responsibility of, if we change the way we do things in order to mitigate these things happening, then he might never exist, which means he cannot then come back to tell us from the future, because he doesn't exist, that we need to change things, which means we don't change things, which means he exists, and therefore you've got a paradox, which just proves the point, it's all bullshit. Dark side of vaping. Any vaping is dark side unless you're using it to give up smoking. I've said this many times before. So you think people who fall in love with a 737-800 are strange. Well, what about this? I was about mounting one. Immediately, people are attracted to inanimate objects and turned on by jets and other cars. People known as objectophiles have opened up about their intimate relationships with planes, trains and automobiles, with some even admitting they fancy them more than people. Well, at least they don't get a headache. Although you have to make sure they're not turned on when you're getting intimate with them. Larry for PM. I believe The Simpsons over any time travel. And time travel equals padded cell, absolutely. Prince Philip was meant to meet aliens with the name Janus, in posh London flats. The late Duke of Edinburgh is reported to have a fascination with the extraterrestrials and apparently once planned to meet one in a Chelsea flat to discuss saving the planet. Yeah, even the fucking royalties off their heads. Mind you, we knew that anyway. Meanwhile, it might all over be sooner rather than later. Huge asteroid the size of a skyscraper is to pass Earth next week. Although the asteroid is estimated to be coming fairly close to Earth, it will still be 0.62 million miles from us, which equates to around 2.6 times the average distance between Earth and the Moon. But we might be able to see it with the naked eye. So that could be interesting. Meanwhile, the otter rebellion continues. Crazed wild otter nearly drowns a child to death after dragging them underwater. A morning walk almost turned to tragedy when a young child was pulled into a marina by a river otter. Luckily, their mother was able to pull them to safety when they resurfaced briefly. Well, if they resurfaced briefly, that means they're still under the water. Someone assumes they resurfaced and were then rescued and didn't go under again. Technology is getting so much better. Clearest ever images of Bigfoot captured peering at bloke through a cabin window. Chewbacca mask. Ergo. Bollocks. Prince Harry. Bitter. Prince Harry warned about Meghan Markle by Princess Diana's brother. Prince Harry set to turn 40. He was already turned 40 now on Wednesday, August the 15th. What? January, February. We're in September. It must be in September. And it's not Wednesday. It's Sunday. Anyway, today. So that's bull. And he's come a long way since he was a carefree younger brother of the future king and the so-called party prince. Yep, he's turned into an absolute fucking loony. But there you go. What can you do? Love is blind. High Street on verge of apocalypse as hundreds of major brands could close. Picture of Chester town centre in the rain. The UK's High Street has already The UK's High Street has already been battered by constant closures of major names on an almost daily basis, and now a huge cliff edge is looming at the start of 2025. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How could you forget about this? Do it every week, Alan. I'm disappointed. Expert shares real concern as 292 high street banks are set to close. Money expert Alistair Douglas has shared his concerns for elderly and vulnerable Brits after Lloyds Banking Group announced that 292 branches will close by the end of 2025. Yep, they're trying to get us cashless. I'll be writing about that in this week's paper later on. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's birthday haunted by the Queen's death after refusing an invite. Prince Harry is celebrating his 40th birthday, Prince Harry is celebrating his 40th birthday today, but the will sadly always be celebrated. But anyway, he'll always celebrate it a week after the anniversary of the death of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Unbelievable. Alan's coming up with these excuses. It sounds like Keir Starmer. He won't give us a time date as to when he can get on, but we'll find out. This is a thing that makes me go, oh, like that. Scientists take an incredible X-rays of a hammerhead shark, and you know what? We weren't disappointed. Talk about aliens earlier on. Look at this for a skull. I mean, wow. I mean, obviously it's going to look like that, but to see it in an X-ray form is quite impressive. Prince Harry celebrating milestone birthday. Prince Harry turns 40. I remember when he was born. Well, not the exact moment, but you know. And that is it for the news. I don't know why I put that up. I didn't mean to put that up. We'll go on to breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. News that's been breaking while I've been talking about the news. News. Breaking news. Breaking news. News. XEC COVID variants, everything you need to know about the new strain and what to do. Well, don't catch it, it's probably the best thing. Dresden rushes to remove a collapsed bridge after flooding is forecasted again, which will blow the debris of the bridge down the river and possibly take out more bridges. What else have we got? Oh, now apparently Keir Starmer is taking the winter fuel help from the disabled. So that's nice. So we've had a go at the old people, now we'll have a go at the disabled people as well, shall we? Here's how cold it needs to be before you turn your heating on. I don't like turning my heating on before the 1st of October. However, I don't like turning my heating on until the 1st of November, really, but I have done it in October a couple of times. Czech Republic forcing evacuations after the flooding. Oh, pardon me. Ugh. Trump was subject to an apparent assassination attempt, say the FBI. But the person wasn't shot who had the gun. He was arrested. 8 migrants died trying to cross the channel, and a baby is hospitalised. A girl 8 died of sepsis after being sent home after a GP who said the hospital was full. 4 weeks waits for GP appointments could reach record high, said the Liberal Democrats. They don't think Labour have got no idea what they're doing. Royal family wishes Harry happy birthday in first public message for 2 years. Lammy has defended Keir Starmer. Starmer took donors' gifts because there is no taxpayer funding for clothes. He's a fucking multi-millionaire. He's worth at least £5 million. I'm sure he can afford to buy his wife a dress. I mean, it just shows that Labour are corrupt. I mean, not that we didn't know that already. The thing is, if you're the government, you are going to be scrutinised by the press and everyone else to make sure that the rules that you're abiding by, the rules that you're putting up with. When you're in opposition and crap like Labour were in opposition, then you don't really get scrutinised. But now you're in government, oh my God, give it 12 months and there won't be many of the cabinet left, one hopes. What else is going on? Avoiding back to school germs. A 16p item will remove limescale from kettle in seconds without vinegar or baking soda. Clickbait. Met Office issues yellow weather warning with dense autumn fog expected. You know it's dense because it goes like, what am I supposed to do now? I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, dense. How to stop Labour from taking your pension tax-free sum. DWP warns up to 800,000 benefit claimants their payments could be stopped before Christmas because of new rules coming in by this government. I mean, you know. David Lammy defends decision to cut winter fuel payments. That's because he's an absolute tosser. So you didn't know that already. Is that it? NHS cannot withstand Labour reforms without more cash, says Sir Ed Davey, the Liberal Democrat leader. It's not. It's the cash is in the wrong place. It's long. It's in the wrong place. Devastating floods in Nigeria force hundreds of thousands from their homes. So, is that it for the news? I think that's it for the news for this week. Just go back on it again just in case anything else has popped up, because it does always change somewhat. No, it's not changing. Widows could be slapped with a £549 council tax rise because we're on about getting rid of the single person tax allowance. Now, council tax allowance that is. So if you live on your own like I do, you only get one income into your household. Whereas if you live with a family, you either get two incomes or you get income and benefits. Either way, you get more money. So the cuts that you get for living on your own is because of the lower income that you generally get. Bear in mind, I don't even get an income properly anyway, so that's another story. So yeah, the whole thing is an anathema, but yeah, it's another way of screwing people. Remember, Keir Starmer was told off. No, not Keir Starmer. Rishi Sunak was told off by Keir Starmer for keep going on about this £2,000 a year tax thing. I'm pretty sure that was an underestimate, and that's probably why Keir was telling him not to come up with that figure, because he knew it was going to be a lot more. But yeah, yeah, how to save money, someone pointed out. Scrap HS2 completely. Just do not build it. Stop where you are now. Leave it. And that will save more than the pensioners' allowance. Considerably more. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. 2/3 of businesses think Labour reforms will damage British competitiveness. Yeah, because they've got no idea. Okay, so we've done that one. What does a blocked nose with blood means? It means you've got a nosebleed. Next. I mean, how long are we going to put up with this Labour government before people get really, really angry? I can't imagine it's going to be long. No. That's it, we're done. That's all the news. Nigel Farage warns pensioners are not going to forgive or forget winter fuel cuts. Well, of course they're not. The problem is a lot of them are going to die before the next election. And Labour know that. They're not telling me they don't realise that the people that are upsetting are the people who won't vote for them next time anyway. Either because they won't vote for them next time or because they're dead. I mean, that's the fact of life, isn't it? Anyway. That is it. Big shout out to Flink, Dream Frequency, Laney, Craig Podmore, Viva Mark, Tufts TV, Kim Braid, Alan Barton, Bitcoin Wolf Club. We've had 49 viewers, average of 846. We've currently got 9 people watching. We had 10 a second ago. We've had 6 likes, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Been on for an hour and 14 minutes. So I do apologise for it being a bit later, but that was due to the fact that I was looking at the news regarding what was going on in America with Trump. And not a lot, which is a good thing. So anyway, yes. Oh, hang on a minute. Tufts just admitted he's an alien. Oh no. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If indeed you still are. And all being well, we will see you again next time. So yeah, I'll be seeing you. Until next time. Bye.